Hey, this isn't the big white wall. Hi, everybody. We are not in our apartment right now. We are in a hotel room in Boston because we just got done going to PAX East, which is a big video game convention that is held by the Penny Arcade guys. It's huge. There's like 5 of them all across the world. So yeah, this is our very first time actually going to one. It was your idea.
Yes.
And I was like, I have no idea what to expect with this. And it was actually a ton of fun. Mm-hmm. This is actually the very first video game convention I've ever gone to. I've typically just gone to comic book conventions. I love this. It was great. So here's what we're going to do. As you are reading this, it says that's one of our post-Geek Out reactions. And you know what our post-Geek Out reactions are. They are when we come in immediately after we have seen some kind of a geeky thing, whether it be a movie, a cartoon, a television series, and we just give you our honest opinions about it. But with PAX, what we decided to do is we got to play 17 different video games over the course of the last 3 days. And many of these games aren't even coming out for months. So I thought it would be great if we could come in here and just based on what we were able to play, just give you our reactions and our feelings about them, just rapid fire going through all 17 of them. And you might be thinking, 17, that is a whole lot. Look in the descriptions down below. In the description down below, there will be timestamps for every single game that we are going to talk about. We're going to save our personal favorites until the very end. So don't look and see what the last 2 games are that we talk about if you want to be surprised. But yeah, they're all going to be right down there. But before we talk about those games, this is the Professor Thorgy channel, so of course I can never just immediately talk about the thing that you tune in to hear. I have to delay the crap out of it. Before we start talking about these games, I just want to talk about our feelings about PAX, about Boston, about our time here, just talk about like our experience, about how much we loved PAX and how much some of the negatives were. I don't want to say hate, but there were a couple of hate-worthy things about this. But before we get into that, a lot of you guys are like, I just want to be here for the video games. Click on that right there. Or if you're watching this on your phone and you can't click on this, just jump to that time that it says right there. That's when we're going to start talking about the video games. So there you go. I'll give you some time to do that. And away it goes. Okay, so hey, by the way, for anybody who is new to this channel, I'm Aaron, this is Michelle.
Hello.
I should start off with that.
Maybe you could just like edit that so it's first and then cut to all of this later. It won't look awkward at all.
As opposed to the rest of my videos. Listen, you guys, the Professor Thorgy fans, have come to expect a certain lack of quality on this channel, so would you really be surprised if I did that? But anyway, yeah, so we're going to talk about just our experience with PAX. This is our very first time coming to it. And I just gotta say, every single year it's held here at the Boston Convention Center. And the people who run PAX, you guys are great. You put together tons of good panels. I loved a lot of the different events that you had. Like, I got to go and see Cox and Crindor live. I love that podcast, and they were hilarious live. You got to meet Markiplier and Jacksepticeye on the very first day. Like, get an autograph from them, and that was your big thing.
Yes.
Jacksepticeye, very tiny. Very tiny. Like, he's like, I'm 6'2", so many people are tiny to me, but you're fairly short. Jack was about the exact same height as you.
He's like maybe 2 inches taller than me.
Yeah. So in Ireland, he's a giant. But yeah, so I gotta say, I absolutely love PAX because of the people here, because nothing gets to me more than just seeing geeks fully embracing and loving the thing that they love, because a lot of people have always asked, what is the definition of a geek? To me, it's passion. Passion is what defines geeks. Nerds are defined by knowledge. If you have a ton of knowledge about something, you're a nerd. Which is fine. That's not a negative thing. I think that is I think that's a great thing to be. I mean, it's a very impressive thing to be if you can actually have that much knowledge about a subject. But geeks are passion. You don't need to know squat about something. You just need to be able to get excited about something. And at this convention, there were so many people who they love video games, or they loved a specific video game franchise, or a storyline from a game, or a character from a game. And it wasn't like just people, because I don't want to like get down on anybody, but at Comic-Cons, you see a lot of people who are there just for business. I'm here to get this specific thing. That's my goal. I'm here for that. Or you see a lot of people kind of being cynical at comic book conventions. You see a lot of positivity at comic book conventions. You do. But I see a lot of also cynicism at comic books. It's like, oh, of course they're making this thing. Oh, of course this is happening. Oh, you see how much that costs? Of course it costs that much. It was just pure, flat-out positivity this whole weekend from everybody. And I loved seeing, like, so many people here who they just love, like, a character or a specific game or storyline from a game. And whenever you saw, like, their excitement, their just pure excitement whenever they were talking about it, it was like, that is what I love about geeks. So, yeah, I fully loved all the people who went to this. Like, this is one of the best audiences I've seen at a convention. Now time to talk about some of the negatives. The staff. The staff was friendly. The staff was super friendly. They were. And they were always willing to be helpful. They was always willing to say, okay, it's down this way. Here, I'll show you where it is. They were always very excited, very pumped up. But whoever organized the staff and told them what to do, they didn't know what the fuck they were getting into. This had to have been their first year doing a convention. Like I said, I've gone to a lot of conventions. This, I do not want to sound like just some whiny, angry piss baby, but this is hands down, not an exaggeration, on day one, hands down, the worst line management I have ever seen at a convention.
Like, if you saw the tweet, his Twitter account...
I melted down on Twitter. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just saying, like, if you, like, follow him on Twitter and you saw his, like, tweet and, like, you took a photo.
I took a photo. It's here.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see that giant mob of people? That is the quote-unquote line to get into this place.
That's the thing. It wasn't even a line to get in this place on the first day.
Yeah. Let me break this down for you. New York Comic Con. We go every single year. It's one of the biggest conventions out there. I would say it's equal size to this. Maybe even bigger. Because you could actually move around here. You can't move around at New York Comic Con. And the space that it takes up is pretty much exactly the same. So I would say New York Comic Con is even bigger. When you go to New York Comic Con, there's one line. Just one line to get in. It stretches for blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks, but there's one line. And there's staff. When you start getting close to the convention center, you will see staff about every 5 blocks with a sign going, go this way, go this way. When you start getting closer, there's staff on every single block with giant signs saying, go down this way, go down this way, go down this way. Do you have an exhibitor pass? Then you go that way. Everybody else go down that way. And there is staff every single block telling you what to do, where to go. The line is very managed. It's one straight line. Here, we started getting closer to the convention center. And we were walking with this big group of people. Then, we see on a bridge, way over there, a giant line of people. And it's like, oh shoot, is that where we're supposed to go? Then, we see on this other street, another giant line of people.
So it's literally giant groups of people coming in from north, south, east, and west.
Yeah, and because there was our line, their line, probably another line in that direction that we couldn't even see.
Yeah, the opposite direction.
Yeah, so there was at least 4 lines here. And when we started getting closer and the line, and the group of people we were walking with finally stopped and it was like, okay, so this is our line. There was no one there to tell us, this is your line. Mm-hmm. There was no one there to tell us, like, hey, do this, do that, do that.
Go over here, or...
There was nobody, like, managing the line or anything like that. And at one point, all the people behind us just decided, well, fuck this. And they formed their own line, and they formed a 5th line and just surpassed all of us in the 4th line. And all of us were, like, looking at them just pouring on past them, like, what's the deal? Did someone tell them to do that? Nobody told them to do that. They were just like, fuck it, we'll just go on up. And so all these people just pass us by, and then eventually they stop, and it all piles up. And the line we were in was like 2 people deep, like shoulder to shoulder. So then they stop, and so what was one line of 2 people next to each other now became one line of 4 people standing next to each other. It's like, nobody said anything about this, nobody gave anybody instructions. It's literally just people filling up as much of the sidewalk as possible to enter this place. And I was like, okay, there's going to be some kind of a plan when we get up there. When we finally got up there were no separate lines. It was literally just a mass of people, just a giant pool of people. It was literally a mob. And it was a well-maintained mob, but it was maintained by us. It was maintained by all of us just going, this is bullshit, right? I guess we'll all just move however we can. And yeah, we were just a giant mob of people standing there. And I would like see people in like that group of the mob moving in. And that group of the mob moving in. And we'd just be standing there, and I see that group moving again, that group moving again. And I say group like there's an order, but no, it was just that third of the mob, that third of the mob, that little quarter of the mob move. I kept seeing them move in, and we weren't moving. I was like, whoever is organizing this and telling people to go, why are you not telling our section to go? And then eventually we get up to the point in which we finally have to like get up to like the metal detectors to go in. There was no one controlling this mob at all. It was literally all the people there having to decide amongst themselves who would slide in first. I was like, oh, it's just that we had some super polite guy at the front of our mob. Just like, no, you go first. You go first. No, you go. No, you go. I was like, oh, God. No one was organizing any of this. It was one of the least maintained things I've ever seen. Like, it was stunning how little maintenance there was to this. And then on Saturday, day 2 when we came in, one line, bars set up all over the place so that you could go back and forth, swerving in there to get to the correct spot. And I was like, they learned.
Kind of.
Somebody from PAX, like the official PAX headquarters, was on Twitter looking at what was going down, and they called someone up that night and went, what the fuck are you doing to our convention? I guarantee you that happened. Because, yeah, it was day and night from Friday to Saturday. However, today, Sunday, we realized something. On Saturday, no one checked our tickets. Friday, someone checked our tickets. Ironically enough, the least organized day of them all. Friday, someone checked our tickets. Saturday, when there was actual, like, bag check people and, like, there was an actual line to follow, no one checked our tickets. They checked our bag. No one checked our tickets. And then today, no one checked our tickets again. And I was like, well, we were wearing them. I guess they just saw it and they assumed that wasn't legitimate pass, which they shouldn't assume that, but I guess they did. But I mentioned this to Michelle as we were walking in, and the person right in front of us said, I was just thinking the same thing because I had my pass tucked into my shirt. There's no way they could have seen it, and they just let me into this thing. I was like, wow. That is zero gives a fuck.
It's like, what's the holdup? You guys are scanning tickets like you're supposed to? Let's get rid of them. That'll make things go by quicker.
I honestly think that might have been it. Like, I honestly think that they called up, said, what the fuck is the deal? Why is there no organization in this? And in, like, some, like, panicked, stressed out moment, they just, like, went, well, it's, us scanning tickets. I don't know why you have us scan tickets. It's taking too long. That's the problem here. It's not the fact that there was no lines or not a single staff member standing outside to guide these people. No, it wasn't that at all. It was like, God, it was, again, the people actually inside who are actually like going, okay, hey, you need help knowing where to go? Yeah, sure, ask me anything. Here, we're going to organize everybody into a big line so that you can all go into the exhibit center at the same time. It's like, those people were great. But whoever organized it and went, we don't need anybody outside, we don't need any lines, yeah, fuck it, people can govern themselves. Anarchy, that's the true government. That's a true government system. Yeah, that person fucked up. Yeah, sorry, we had to get all that out about PAX. One last thing about PAX, though. I actually met a fan here. I've actually, ever since I started doing this channel, I've met a fan at every single convention I've gone to, which is kind of awesome. That makes me feel really good, so thank you guys. But his name is Chris, and he was actually the very first fan to ever ask for a picture with me. And I was like, why? I'm just some dude. Oh, right, I have a channel. Right, yeah, like, I'm not used to that idea yet. So that was awesome. I really wish I had gotten a photo with you to commemorate that. But hats off to you, Chris. Okay, time to start talking about all the games we played. Also, I just want to say, I just checked the time and saw how long we talked about PAX in Boston. Sorry for that. That went on way longer than I expected. But hey, you guys saw the time code. You know what you were getting into. So anyway, okay, let's begin. But before we talk about video games, part of PAX is also tabletop and card games. And we're still fairly new to that. We don't play a lot of those. So I wasn't really going to talk about that here. However, there is one that I did want to talk about real quick. It is called Capture Creature. Cast and Capture. Sorry. But Capture Creature is a comic book. Oh,
yeah.
That's on my brain. Cast and Capture. There you go.
By the way, Capture Creatures is also very good, and you should check that out.
Yeah, if it ever comes back. I think it's on a year hiatus. Jeez. But okay, Cast and Capture. This game, the reason why I'm going to talk about it real quick is because it's a Kickstarter game. They just got funded, so they're a brand new company just starting up. So I feel like I should take this time to promote them. But as I said, we're brand new to card games and tabletop games. So we kind of enjoy the more simpler ones and the more fast-paced ones, the ones that aren't going to take a whole day to play and can be really easily understood. This game, super easy. Basically, you get all of these creatures out there on the board. They're each wonderfully illustrated and very creative. And then you also get a hand full of energy cards. The energy cards and the creatures will also have a cost and an energy type. And basically, you have to match up the energy to the creature in order to capture them, and at the end of the game, whoever has the most creatures wins. But you can combine two different energy cards in order to create a brand new energy card. So if you have a 6 of wind and a 5 of grass, you can combine it to make a 6 of grass. So if there's a 6 of grass creature out there, you can combine those two energy cards to get that one. And you can also do the same with creatures. So if you have a 5 of fire in your hand, and there's a creature out there that is a 5 of darkness and a 3 of fire, you can combine the creatures and get them with that one energy card. It's really simple. It's basically just what I explained to you right there, and it goes really fast, and it's something that does flex your brain muscles, but not to the point in which you're have steam coming out of your ears and you're like, oh god, what am I doing here? So it is fast, fun, just challenging enough, and it does let you be a little bit creative. So yeah, definitely check that out if you are into any kind of card game like this. Alright, let's finally talk about these video games. Okay, as I said, we have 17 games here. We're going to go through them rapid fire just to cover our basic impressions of them based on the demos that we were able to play. Some of them I played, some of them she played. So, okay, as I said, we're going to save our favorites for the end, but for now, let's start with, this is one that I want to start with, Flinthook.
Oh, yes.
Flinthook is this new platformer game, and first off, the art style is awesome.
Yes, it's pixel art, and it's very detailed. There's a lot of coloring and shading, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's
very fluid animation also.
Yeah, it's that kind of pixel art in which it's high detailed pixel art, which I really enjoy that style myself. But just the style of the characters, the design of the characters, very animated. In a way, it kind of reminded me almost of Don Bluth. Some of the monsters, some of the monsters had that big jawline and heads that the old Don Bluth designs had. But basically, you're this person going through a pirate ship, and it's pirate ships in space, actually. So it's got two things working for it at once.
Space pirates.
Yeah, which I thought was really awesome.
Yeah.
And we didn't cover any story mode when we played.
We just jumped right in.
Yeah, we just jumped right in. The demo didn't have any story mode to it. Mm-hmm. But at one point, the main character, he's got this hood on that looks kind of like those ghost lollipops that you used to get as a kid. Those tissue paper lollipops that when you... Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. At Halloween, you draw a little ghost face on right around that. He basically looks like he's wearing one of those. Although at first, I thought he was Sans from...
Undertale?
From Undertale. I was like, oh, Sans is getting work again. Good for him. But yeah, so that's his design, but we did see a game over screen. We did die once, and when you die, you see his body floating there without the hood on, and the hood turns into a ghost, and then it flies back into him when you press continue. I was like, okay, so something is going on with this kid. Like, it did actually get me intrigued. But here is the thing that makes this game unique, is that it's a platformer, but it's not a platformer where you just jump. There are hooks all over the level, like little rings just hanging in the level, and you have a hook shot. And the entire thing that makes this game unique is that you travel almost primarily through hook shot.
Yep.
So yeah, it's really awesome. You can do really fast-paced stuff. Like, it creates really unique levels.
Yes, that's why the name of the game is Flinthook, because you hook shot everywhere. And another really awesome mechanic I thought was very clever was time. Like, there's a button where you like pause time.
Yeah.
Well, not pause, but slow down time, because some of the enemies shoot or run around like really quickly, and you can only. You can't really get to them, so you have to like slow them down in order to like shoot them or like get past their bullets or whatever.
Yeah, that actually added a whole new element to the game. You can press the slow down button infinitely. However, it only lasts for a certain amount of time, then you gotta wait like a few seconds before you can use it again.
Recharge.
But yeah, it's an infinite thing. It's not like it's eating up some meter the whole time. And that did add a whole new element to it, because you can use it in combat. Like, when you have a bunch of guys firing at you at once, you can slow down time. Although your bullets do move at slow speed too when you slow down time. So you do have to actually think about this. It doesn't like make you a god in there, because you're moving slow as well. But also, when you're just trying to jump around and hook from one thing to the next, that actually helps you as well, because it allows you to like slow down and like aim at where you want to go.
Oh yeah, that's another mechanic. We should talk about the aiming.
That is the one thing that it's going to take some getting used to. Because you aim with the left stick, and that's the same button that you use to actually move around.
Yeah, move your character around.
So you basically have to you have to aim with the same thing that is making you move.
Right.
And that does, I'll admit that it's gonna be hard to get used to that. However, towards the end of my gameplay, I was getting used to it.
Yeah, I didn't have much time to play, so I was still trying to get the hang of it, but like, I really do enjoy the unique mechanics, and once you get used to them, I think it'll be like very enjoyable for everybody.
Yeah, it's like I said, we didn't get to play a lot of it. It had one of the shorter demos, which thank God for that. Because also, quick little rant here. I wanted to mention this at the beginning, but one of my other problems with PAX is video game developers. I understand you want to create a demo that is long enough that people can fully experience everything. But there is a long-ass line behind you. If your demo is 20 minutes long, it is going to be one of the biggest pains in the ass for people to just have to stand there. They're going to be standing there for hours on end waiting to get up there. So whenever I did play a demo that was like 5 minutes long, I almost wanted to go, no, dude, I don't care if I didn't see everything. That was exactly what I needed right there, okay? That was the teaser trailer. Sometimes that's all I need, and now the guy behind me can get up here and play.
Yeah, that's the whole point of a demo, is to give them a little taste.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Not to give you the mini game.
It's a little taste, not an appetizer.
Okay, sure. I guess that works. But yeah, what was I even saying? I started ranting and I forgot again. But anyway, yeah, this game, it looks fantastic. We didn't get to play all that much of it, but I'm fine with that because we played enough that I could tell what this game is like. And as I said, the actual gameplay of it, it's going to be tricky. But once you get used to it, I think this game is going to be one of those things that just sweeps people away. Like, I think this is going to be one of those games that people are really going to be talking about. So this, automatically, it's not my favorite of the con because we didn't save it for last, but this is one that I absolutely recommend people checking out when it finally comes out. Let's see. Oh, next one. This one, I'll admit, I did not actually get to play. However, I watched several other people playing it. Like I said, the demo's way too long at this con, and this is one that was really long. Like, they wanted you to play through an entire level of this, and the game is Dead by Daylight. And this game, it's a horror game, obviously, and I love horror games. I do. This game, it's a stealth horror game, and I hate stealth. So I was kind of torn on this. As I said, I didn't get to play it, but I watched so many other people play it for so long, because I was standing in that line for a while before I finally gave up and had to leave, that I really did get to see exactly what this game is. This is a game in which you and a group of other people, you are put in basically like a camp. Like, basically, you're kidnapped by these hillbilly freaks. And they put you in this camp, and it's like, yeah, they're gonna murder you. They're gonna murder you. And you have to slowly escape and make your way to freedom. It's a very unique idea, and I was watching the gameplay of it, and it is pretty much all stealth, which totally adds to the horror element of it. I've said this numerous times that horror games, one of the things that a lot of them suffer from is that they're like, well, we can't just have them go around being defenseless the whole time. We gotta make this so that they can fight back. It's like, well, you know, you can give them a weapon. Sure, you can give them a weapon to fight back, but there's a difference between Resident Evil 1, where you get a gun with 2 bullets in it, and then if you're lucky you might find another bullet, and Resident Evil 5, where you can punch monsters across the screen, and then punch boulders, and you have rocket launchers every other direction from you. Yeah, so this is one of those games which is like, no, you can't fight back, you have to get out of there, and you can't just go to the exit. You have to go from one objective to the next, to actually get the things that you need to escape. Yeah, like I said, I don't really like stealth games, but I do like horror, and this one looks like it will be really freaky. And even though I don't like stealth games, there are some stealth horror games, like Outlast, that I actually really do enjoy. So I am really hesitantly looking forward to this one. Okay, next one is Grand Kingdom. This is a game coming out to the PlayStation, and I had never heard of this thing. It is a game in which you're part of a clan and you take quests, and you have to move along this little map that's almost like a chessboard. In fact, you're even a pawn as you're moving across it. And there are villains moving around the board as well, and you will meet up with these villains and engage in battle with them as you are on your way to finish this quest. I didn't get very long into it, so I don't know the variety of quests you can take. The quest that I took was beat the leader, so it was just find people and beat them. It's an interesting setup.
Yeah, like when you mention like the chessboard, it's like that's basically the overworld map, the chessboard. But then when you actually engage in battle, it's actually more of a side scroller.
Kind of, but at the same time, there's placement, kind of like chess, because
but it's like more like rows. Like there's 3 rows for the characters to jump from before they move forward or backward. Yeah,
like when I was playing, I had 4 characters I could use, and there were 3 rows that these characters could stand on, and the villains were staying on these same rows. And you would have to actually run up to meet the villain, and you have like a stamina bar that determines how far you can move. So you might try and move up to the villain, but then you run out of stamina, so you can't reach them in time. Or you might want to reach a villain who is like up here, but you have an ally standing like right here and another ally right up here. You can't push your ally. So it's like, okay, I can't get to that one right now. But then when you get up to them, everybody has different attacks, and you then have to engage in battle with them using the different types of attacks, which require you to actually press buttons. It's not like, okay, here's the menu with all your attacks. It's triangle for this attack, circle for this attack, and it didn't tell me what kind of attack it was, but after you press it, it then shows like the type of range it has, and that actually led to one very unfortunate moment in which I had one character line up, and it showed that their attack was going to go across this row, and then I hit it, and they started charging up. I was like, okay, so hopefully that does something later. And I totally forgot that I had them charging, and then I put 2 other characters of mine up on that row in between her and the enemy she was going to attack, and I had them attack that enemy, and then next turn, her charge attack gets activated, and she just fired this giant laser, and it took out my 2 guys standing in front of her. It's like, oh, friendly fire is a thing in this game. So when you're actually playing in combat, I do have to give them credit, because you really got to think about it. You can't just have your heroes line up on one end and just go, okay, attack those guys on the other end. You really do have to think about placement, because not only can your heroes be hurt by the attacks of your other heroes, but also, like, let's take your healer, for example. Let's say your healer needs to go over and heal up one of your other heroes who's in trouble. If her endurance isn't high enough to reach them on the other side of the screen, your guy isn't getting healed. I gotta say, the combat actually was really impressive. I also dug the art style. It's very simplistic, but I'll be totally honest with you guys, sometimes I like simplistic art design. But yeah, the combat is a thing that really made it unique. And I don't want to say I enjoyed it enough to really recommend it to people, but I enjoyed it enough that I want to play it more. So check it out. It's going to be coming out on like Steam and also the PlayStation Network. I don't think PlayStation Network has any way of just renting a game, but I know Steam has options for that, including just buying the game and then returning it within 24 hours if you don't like it. So yeah, check that out if it sounds like anything you'd be interested in, because it really was intriguing. And I do have to give props to creativity when I see it, and I did think that combat was creative. Alright, next one. I played like 2 seconds of this one. You played way more than me, so you'll do more talking on this one. Kingdom Hearts Unchained X, which is the new mobile game.
Yeah.
Coming from the Kingdom Hearts people.
Not Kingdom Hearts 3.
No.
Sorry.
Was anyone asking for this? Was anybody asking for a Kingdom Hearts mobile game?
No, everyone wants Kingdom Hearts 3, but they just keep giving us like side games and this and that. It's like, just quit dicking around and just give us the third installment.
Well, how'd you feel about, like, when you actually play this, how do you feel about it?
It just felt like a cheap Flash mobile app that you can download. The way the characters were animated, it felt like one of those cheap knockoff, like Elsa's back surgery, those kind of stupid app games. Yeah, that's what the
Adult Swim games, basically, like those.
No, not Adult Swim.
Really?
No, like, don't you know about like the horrible like knockoff like Disney like games like?
Oh, I don't know about this.
No, it's like baby Elsa's tummy aches, so you gotta like take care of baby Elsa. Like that's like.
I didn't know this was a thing.
No, it's definitely a thing.
This is disturbing.
Yes, it is. It's very disturbing. Like,
oh, I thought you were talking about like those games that Adult Swim makes, where it's like after Surgeon Simulator got big, they then made like Intern Surgeon Simulator or something like that, in which it was like, oh, you're a terrible surgeon, you're messing things up, and like.
No.
Although I will say the animation in this game looks a lot like those Adult Swim ones, where it's just like, no, it looks cheap on purpose.
Yeah.
Except this is Square Enix. It shouldn't look cheap on purpose. With Adult Swim, that's the joke.
Yeah, it's like, why does it look like cheap Flash animation? Because like
it does.
Yeah, but why? I mean, I've seen phone apps where it actually looks like 3D, decent, good. Like what's the name?
We saw some at this convention.
Yes, exactly. It's like what's the name of the one where they run along on the train track? That app?
The speedrunner thing.
Yeah, speedrunner thing. Yeah, like that's actually like in 3D. So
this is worse than speedrunner. Yeah, this thing. I don't think I can sum this up better than saying we went over to the Square Enix booth. Every single game had a line. This thing had 3 computers set up with nobody at any of them.
And considering this is Kingdom Hearts, a really, really popular game franchise, that says a lot.
Yeah, this thing, it's a cash grab. It is 100%.
That's basically it. I mean, even the combat is terrible. Like, all you do is like slide up to the Heartless and just tap on them to kill them, and that's it.
Well, you do actually get to select before you go into battle different Disney and Square Enix characters, and each of them serve as a different attack.
But I don't see the difference. You just keep tapping on them until your turn's over, then you let the Heartless attack you, and that doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it's like you prep for the game by actually going, okay, here are the characters and here are their stats that I can use, and what do you do with them? Tap, 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 tap,
yeah.
tap, tap, tap. It's like, yeah, alright. Yeah, it's not, unless you are a diehard Square Enix fan. And don't get me wrong, guys, we all have those things that we love. If they made a Persona game that was this exact thing, and you just replace the Disney characters with different personas, and you're like, oh, this gives you what they did in that one weekend that we didn't talk about, in which they're going to face the exact same characters over again that you saw in the 2 other Persona 4 games. I would still be like, that sounds like a cheap knockoff and it sounds like a total cash grab. I'll take it. Like, yeah, I understand, guys. But we're just saying, unless you are that person with Kingdom Hearts, there is no reason to get this game. Next up, speaking of mobile games, we're going to do 3 rapid fire ones. These ones all came from RWBY Games, and let's be honest, the reason why we played these was because these are the people who made Sushi Cat, and they were giving out Sushi Cat plushies at their booth, but only if you played a game and then got a ticket and took the ticket over to this big prize wheel and spun it and got Sushi Cat. We didn't get Sushi Cat.
No. We got the pin.
We got Sushi Cat pin, which is cute.
But we didn't get the actual plushie, which is sad because it's super cute.
It was super adorable.
Yeah.
But we did play 3 of their 5 games.
Yes.
But
they weren't phone apps, though, I don't think.
They weren't, but they had a little bit of that feel. One of them definitely felt like it was. And I'll start with that one. It was called Bunker Sim. And it's basically a resources management game in which you have a squad of people working for you and you're all building a bunker. And you're basically trying to maintain this bunker. And you have to have people dig to expand the bunker. But when you expand the bunker, you have to put a different room there, so like put in a reading room or a living quarters or an entertainment room. But when you put that in there, it requires power. So you have to build another room that generates power, but then you need people to run the place that makes power. And then you need a lab to research different things that you can create. So like a different type of room, a different type of weapon that you can use. And one of the things that I saw that the lab could create was knives and baseball bats. So I was like, okay, there's clearly going to be combat somewhere in this game. I didn't get that far enough because they only let you play for 5 minutes, which again, RWBY Games, way to go. Way to realize there are people standing in line who want to play these games. And here's the thing. I have an addictive personality. So I hate resource management games, but I will get addicted to them. And I started playing this as like, I don't like these types of games, and I'm only doing this just to get that ticket. By the end of it, I was like, I could totally see myself like spending hours on this thing. I think it is going to be a phone app one because it's so simplistic. It'd be crazy to not be a phone game, but it did look like it was super addictive for anybody who was into those types of games.
Alright, the RWBY games that I played was Adventure Pals, and I really enjoyed it. It's very cute. It has like a very simple Flash animation style, and it's it's a side-scrolling platform. And basically, you play this kid, and you get a giraffe for your birthday. And you use the giraffe to help you out. Like, for example, in the overworld, you ride your giraffe to the next location, and then from there on out, your giraffe friend is basically like a Kazooie in Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the giraffe's head pokes out of your backpack, and when you can use the giraffe to grapple and everything. So
I saw that, yeah.
Yes, and you can even float a bit. Like you jump in the air, and the giraffe can use his tongue as a propeller to help you float around, and it's really cute. It's very fun. It reminds me of those Castle Crashers and everything.
I was going to say it looked like, because I didn't play, so I don't know flavor wise what it was like. But just looking at the art style, I was like, this totally looks like a Behemoth game.
Yes, I was saying that too.
It totally looks like some Castle Crashers or
Battle Block Theater.
That was it, Battle Block
Yes.
Theater. Yeah, it really did look like that style.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I really love those games, so that's why I really enjoyed this game. And I really think it's very cute mechanic to have a giraffe pal help you out.
It did look like a lot of fun.
Yeah, so yeah, I would definitely give that a try.
Okay, and the other one that I played was Never Give Up. This game, have you ever played 1001 Spikes or Super Meat Boy? You will enjoy this game. Because the entire point of this game is that you are running through levels, and in the demo that I played, there were 7 levels. And every single level is exactly the same, except it grows and extends a little bit with each one. And with each one, they also put different obstacles in your way. Very first level, it's straightforward. Entrance here, exit here, spikes on the floor in the middle, you run over, jump over the spikes. Cool. Level 2, you run over, jump over the spikes, then you have to duck underneath a saw blade. Exits there. Next one, spikes are longer, so you have to double jump. There's also saw blades going up and down, and then there's the buzzsaw, but also spikes coming up and down off the ground, and then you have to go under that. If you get through that, then you're at the exit. Next one, spikes here, long spikes here, missile launching from here, buzzsaws coming up and down, buzzsaw here, spikes going up. You get past all that. Now there's a whole new section of the level in which you have to double jump up a wall, and then when you get to the top of the wall, there are mines that fall from the ceiling, then you get to the exit. Then you get to the next level, and more stuff, the level starts getting longer, it's basically like that. They keep adding more stuff, and towards the end of it, yeah, it's one of those which, like, you have got to be on point. Like, you have got to know everything that's coming your way. You have got to have the patience to wait for just the right moment, but also the agility to dodge all the stuff that is being fired at you. It is one of those games in which it's called Never Give Up, because you're going to die over and over and over and over and over again, and that's the point of the game, is that you just have to deal with that. But, like I said, if you're one of those people who have played 1001 Spikes, or Super Meat Boy, and you loved it and you're looking for something else, like I said, I suck at those games because I'm not good enough, but with this one, I actually did get to the final level before my 5 minutes was up. And so, just judging it by that, I'd say it's not nearly as hard as those other ones are. However, when the final game comes out, no way is it just going to be those 7 levels. It's going to keep going on and on and on, and it's going to keep getting harder and harder and harder. So if you're one of those people who loves, like, punishing difficulty in games, this looks like you'll really enjoy that game.
Yeah. Oh, there's one more thing I forgot to add about Adventure Pals. I played 2-player, but I think it's better off as a single player. Yeah, I think, the game is still in development, kind of.
Okay.
So I guess they're trying to make it multiple player, but so far it works best as, a single player. It's basically, when they did 2-player with Shovel Knight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so basically, you're both doing your own thing, and, if both of you die, it's the end of the game, but if one of you dies, then you just regenerate, so...
Okay, so you think it's better as single player then?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a bit more, it's a bit less chaotic, and also the person I was playing with wasn't too good, so maybe that was another reason why that had an influence on my opinion, but...
It is surprising how often the company that you keep when you're playing a game can influence your opinion on a game. Okay, this next one, I didn't get a chance to play, but you played it. It's Star Fox Zero. And I'm just going to warn everybody, we have not had time to see the reviews for this game because it just came out while we were at PAX. This is the only time we've been able to play it.
Yeah.
It's at the floor on PAX. So I'm just going to say it's a Nintendo game, so it's probably getting great reviews. So if that's the case, this will be a second opinion.
Well, the graphics are lovely, but, the controls are very frustrating. Like, basically, because it's for the Wii U and there's a gamepad, Nintendo wants to utilize. That's it. Sorry.
I'm not the only one who does it, folks.
So Nintendo wants to utilize the screen on the gamepad. So the thing is, you have to look at the TV screen to see where you're flying, but you have to look at the screen on the gamepad to see where you're shooting, and that's very difficult to, keep track of both screens at the same time, especially when the gamepad, especially when it's, motion controlled. The gamepad is motion controlled. So, you have to, look and see and aim where you're shooting, and also you gotta watch where you're flying, so having all this done all at the same time is very difficult.
So you're saying that when you played, you had to check the big screen to see where you were flying in the world. You had to check the small screen to see what you were firing at, and in order to see what you were firing at, you actually had to move the pad around?
Yeah, I tried just looking at the TV screen and just moving the pad based on where my bullets are going, but I don't know, maybe there was something wrong with my pad because like I kept like shooting off to the side for some reason, or maybe I was just angling it wrong, so that's why it kept like shooting off to the side and why.
Maybe it's a flawed game.
Who knows?
I will say I'm glad to hear you say this because I remember when they announced that's how it was going to play, I thought, that sounds incredibly difficult and complicated. But then I saw all these people going to E3 and coming back going, listen, I thought it was going to be complicated. I had a blast at it and it actually worked together really well. I was like, oh, for real? And now hearing you say this makes me go, oh, so maybe it's just the, like, lifetime Star Fox fans who are like, no, trust me, I know how this works. But for people who are new to it, because this is the first Star Fox game you ever played.
Yeah, like, not only that, but it's the first Star Fox game with, like, motion control, with a double screen and everything, as far as I know. Because
there wasn't one on the Wii, and that's the only other time they would have had one.
Yeah, pretty much. So, yeah, like, this is the first time they've done this sort of mechanic. So, yeah, it would be difficult for those who are not used to it and are used to the, you know, old school controllers with you know, no motion controller screen or anything.
There might be, like, some kind of a way to turn it off, because I remember when Splatoon came out, it also said you aim by moving the gamepad.
Yeah, like,
I did that at a demo, and I went, this is frustrating as hell, and I don't want to do it.
I immediately turned off the motion controllers on Splatoon. It was way easier for me. So I'm hoping, I don't, like, maybe they did the same thing with Star Fox Zero. We don't know. We haven't played the actual game yet.
Yeah.
So if any of you guys, like, have any suggestions or, like, comments on that, just, you know...
Just, yeah, like I said, we're solely judging it from the demo.
Yes.
And we're also judging it from our own standpoint. And you're saying that as someone who has never played a Star Fox game, this was really complicated. Yeah, so. Alright, so just remember that if you're somebody who's like, I played every Star Fox game ever, and I thought that this was perfect. It's like, well, chill out. You're not the only person playing video games out there. There's some people who are new to a franchise. So. Speaking of games that you don't play a lot of, mobile card games. This is what the fuck is this game called? Star Crusade War of the Expanse. Goddamn.
That's quite a title. Why can't we just call it, like, Star Crusader?
Maybe there's already another Star Crusade before. Oh, I know why. It's because they want this to be a, like, ongoing thing. So they want this to be Star Crusade War of the Expanse. The sequel, Star Crusade Warrior of the Expanse.
Warrior!
Yes. Wario of the Expanse. But yeah, so this is a card game, and I remember when this was announced, pretty much every article out there was like, oh, it's coming for Hearthstone. Oh man, this thing, it's so ingenious. It's Hearthstone in space. I've played Hearthstone. Hearthstone is it's easier than this one. It's got a better introduction. I think more casual fans can get into Hearthstone. This one, it has a lot of mechanics to it, and you don't play a lot of these. And we played against each other. I play way more card games than you. Like, I've played Magic the Gathering for years. So I was able to pick up on this fairly well. Like, towards the end, I was like, alright, I still don't quite understand everything, but I'm starting to get this. We also had a guy at the table who gave us no introduction to this at all.
Yeah.
So that hurt.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, you found it a little bit frustrating, but towards the end of it, I was actually kind of getting into it, and I was enjoying it. So again, you don't really play card games, so I can't really come in here and go like, oh, well, you didn't enjoy it, so there we go.
Yeah, it's like, I kind of feel like I would have enjoyed it more if it was like actual cards instead of like pictures on a screen, because one of the things I had trouble with was like moving or tapping the cards and activating them. Which
that's one of those things in which it's like, that's a big divide that's going on in the card gaming community is with digital games. It's like, yeah, some people just want the cards in their hand. It works for them when they can actually look at each of the cards at once in their hand, actually read them as much as they want, but when they actually just have a symbol down there and they have to click and hold on to read it, it takes them out of the game.
There was also a timer. You noticed that before your turn?
Yeah, but that didn't really come into play much, I don't think. And I think that was just for the demo.
I guess, but like, I felt kind of pressured to like make decisions because of that timer. So maybe that might have affected my game.
Damn timer. But yeah, I gotta say, as somebody who actually does enjoy card games, I was enjoying it towards the end.
Yeah.
I will say it's not as smooth as Hearthstone, because with Hearthstone, I'm like, flick, 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 this, move that here, move this here. With this one, I was like, go up, go up, come on. Which, this game isn't coming out yet, so that could just be like a bug that they have to fix. But I will say I was enjoying it towards the end, and towards the end I was understanding it. It's a little bit more complicated than Hearthstone, but for those of you out there who have been playing Hearthstone, and you're like, I'm ready for the next thing, I think you'll enjoy this. Next one. I don't know what the fudge to say about this game. Night in the Woods. This is a game, it was on Kickstarter, it got funded in like 26 hours, like it was one of those big success stories. You are playing as this cat, and you were living at home with your parents, and you like just came home from college, and you're just basically bumming around, and you're going around the town, and you can talk to people, and I will say it's really awesome because you can actually talk to everybody that you come across, and you can actually talk to them multiple times, and they'll have different stuff to say each time. And you go and you meet up with your friends, and you hang out with them, and yeah, we didn't play this one. We watched someone in front of us play it. And they had like nice seats where you could actually see the big screen, so it's not like I was like peeking over someone's shoulder. No, we watched this.
There also wasn't a huge line, so...
Yeah, and the reason why I feel comfortable talking about this game, even though we did not like physically play it, is because we watched someone play this for 20 minutes. It was all just walking around talking to people. So I feel like we got the experience of the demo, but I'll say this. The positives of this game is that it looks gorgeous. It does look amazing. Like, it's 2D animation. I don't really know how to describe it, but it's like that kind of like artwork in which there's like no outlines to anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, it all has this very unique style to it. It moves very fluidly. The animation is so smooth in this. It looks gorgeous. The writing is really clever. I chuckled at numerous dialogue exchanges that these characters had, and I did find it very interesting, all the different styles of gameplay that were in here, because there's one moment in which you go to a convenience store, you talk to someone, and they're like, hey, let's go out into the back and just smash light bulbs, which growing up in the South, I knew many people who that was their favorite hobby. That was something that they did after work. They would go and smash light bulbs at the junkyard. So that kind of took me back. And then you actually have to swing a baseball bat to hit these light bulbs as they're throwing them at you. And then you go to band practice. And then it just turns into Guitar Hero for one scene. And then you go to a mall and you have to steal something when the clerk isn't looking. And you've got like the clerk's head up here in the corner and their eyes are darting back and forth, and you gotta like move your hand to grab the item when they're not looking. So there were a bunch of different things that you could do. But to me, that's also one of the negatives. One of the negatives of this game is that we watched someone play this for 20 minutes. The demo was not over with. We just had to go and do other stuff. We could not wait any longer. But this goes back to what I have said all throughout this video. Game developers, you need to make your demos simpler. You need to realize that your demo is basically a pitch. It's a pitch to someone to make them want to buy your game. And this did get me intrigued, I'll give them that. However, the main reason why I was intrigued is because after watching this thing for 20 minutes, I still had no idea what the hell this game was. Because when you started learning how to swing the baseball bat, I was like, okay, so there's going to be some kind of a combat thing in here because you're swinging this baseball bat around. No, not that I could see. I couldn't tell what it was.
Like, I think maybe the reason why this particular game has such a long demo is because there's like so many like mini games that have different mechanics in them. Like you said, like it was most like the main part of the game is like walking around and talking to everybody, but then there's like mini games that you activate after talking to the people, and you know, so those require different mechanics. Yeah. So maybe that's why this particular game had a longer demo, so you get a taste of each of the mini games in them.
I think there is some truth to that, but the problem I see with that is that, like I said, 20 minutes of watching this thing, I had no idea what this game was supposed to be. Is it just mini games as you're hanging out with your friends? Or is there like actually something you're going towards? And I got so curious, I actually had to look it up on Kickstarter. Like I found the official Kickstarter that this person created for it. They created it a while ago. But let me give you the actual description. First off, the only bit of information that we got about this thing is that it said, "Night in the woods, at the end of everything, hold on to anything." That's all we got.
Yeah, that's basically their catchphrase.
That doesn't mean anything. Alright. This is the description that was on the Kickstarter page. All May wants to do is run around with her friends, break stuff, and hang on to a life of aggressive aimlessness. She dropped out of college and returned home to her crumbling old mining town to do just that. But she's finding that nothing is the same anymore. The old town seems different. Her old friends have grown into their own directions. May herself is undergoing some sudden and unexperienced changes, giving her mysterious abilities that grant her access to a side of town that she never knew existed. The world is changing, things are ending, and the future is uncertain. Up behind the park at the edge of town, back in the trees by the old mine, there's something in the woods, and it could mean no future at all. Okay, we watched this thing for 20 minutes. No mysterious abilities. No woods. We never saw woods at all. We don't know this. We never got any sense of this mysterious thing. No sense of like what the threat is of this thing. That's my point to this, is that it looked fun. I love the dialogue. I really like the characters. The animation is great. I think all these little mini games is cool, but I got no sense of what the actual game is. And I know somebody might say, well, you should have waited around until the end of the demo. It's like, dude, this is a convention where there are all these things to do within a limited amount of time, and they all have some kind of a line to wait to get into. I do not have time to spend more than 20 minutes waiting for a demo to show me what the heck it's about. So, yeah, it intrigued me, but I don't feel like I have actually seen what this game is yet. So, it's one of those in which I would really just say, keep an eye on it. I guess that's my final score.
Okay.
Keep an eye on it, because I do want to know what this game is.
Yeah.
I just wish I could say I know what it is after seeing this 20-minute demo. Okay, this next one I've been really looking forward to. And for anybody out there who is a big indie gaming fan, and you're like, oh, well, clearly you just did not understand the intricacies of Night in the Woods. First off, I love the stuff that I saw in there. I just did not see the actual game itself. So that was my complaint with it. Not that I didn't understand the stuff that I saw, but for anybody out there who is like, oh, well, clearly you just don't enjoy indie games, you're going to be really mad for me for talking about this next one. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutants in Manhattan. Okay, I am actually really looking forward to this game for two reasons. One is because it's being made by the same people who made Bayonetta, and those guys, even when they turn out a very meh tie-in game, the combat in it is awesome. And I will say, as I was playing through this, the combat was indeed awesome. The combat was great. I was playing as Raphael, and yeah, there's all kinds of stuff that you can do in there. Like, they really thought out the combos in this game, and it felt awesome. Like, it felt so smooth fighting in there, and the animation was gorgeous. Like, there is this lovely cell shading to it that just made every single swing and attack look great. Also, the world looked fantastic too. Like, it's this very crisp, bright colors. We were going through this construction site, and you could jump all around it onto different beams, so it was great being able to jump around the environment like that. And there's all kinds of different things that you can even do with the characters. Like, they even have like a semi-detective vision in which you can like go into like this scouting mode in which like you'll be able to see villains far off so it can target them. So if you're having trouble finding them, that's made to simplify everything. And it did indeed come in handy because you are going to be running around Manhattan, so they really wanted to take advantage of like the entire like skyline, so you could go from one building to the next looking for these guys, and that did simplify things. The other reason why I'm really looking forward to it is because I currently love the IDW Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic, and we have never gotten a video game based on that. Which I understand why, is because the comics, you know, they sell like that much, which for a comic book is very good. the old 80s cartoon sold that much, and the current Nickelodeon cartoon sells that much. So yeah, I fully understand why nobody would look at the IDW Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic and go, oh no, we need to make something based on that. This is based on that. And I love that comic series. And it was just fun for me seeing the characters specifically designed around these versions of them. It just was an enjoyable experience for me on a geeky level. And as I said, combat-wise, gameplay's great. There is a problem, though, in that the other turtles, no one else was controlling them, so it was just the AI. The AI on the turtles is not that good. Granted, this game is not coming out for a while, so they have time to fix it. But there was a moment in which I was jumping around as Raphael, and I was looking around for the villains, and then I just kept seeing an arrow point to where the other turtles were. They were way behind me, and I ran back to check them out, and like, I think it was Leonardo, was just jumping against a wall non-stop. And I didn't know how to stop it. Eventually, I just ran over to the next villain, and as soon as I engaged in combat with them, they came running to join me. But it was just a weird thing that he was just, like, I didn't do anything to trigger that. He was just jumping against a wall in the opposite direction where we needed to go. It was weird. But as I started fighting with the other turtles as a team, I didn't see any, like, combo maneuvers. I know that they are going to be in the game, but I didn't actually see any of them in play. However, at one point, it was weird. Michelangelo just brought out pom-poms and started cheering while I was attacking. And I was like, okay, so is that like increasing my power in some way? I don't know what it was doing, but it clearly was a thing it was doing. And even if it's just there for flavor, it did make the game more fun. So yeah, so far, this is off to a pretty darn good start. I am actually looking forward to this when it comes out. I mean, I was looking forward to it for those reasons I already named, but this kind of confirmed why I should be excited for it. I just hope they fix the AI in time. Speaking of tie-in games, the RWBY RWBY, the Rooster Teeth series RWBY, is getting its own game, which makes sense. I mean, it was created by video game fanatics. So it is finally getting its own tie-in game. I got to play through some of that. Let's be real. Let's be totally real here, guys. It's a tie-in video game. And I know I just praised that Mutant Ninja Turtles one, even though it's a tie-in game. This one is a flat-out tie-in game. Because I was playing through this, and it might be different when you play the actual extended version of the game, like the actual physical version of it when it comes out. But just playing through what I played through, you're going around a large, fairly empty-looking forest. It looked pretty nice, like graphics-wise, but it's fairly empty. And then you fight a lot of really generic-looking villains. I know that they are actual monsters from the show. And I understand that in the show, they have kind of generic-looking villains because they don't have a budget to create more. But I figured for a video game, you would have a little bit of a larger budget. And I was fighting the same kind of villains over and over and over again. When you watch them fight these kind of creatures in the show, you watch them do a really cool fight scene, and then it's over with. I was fighting the same villains over and over and over again. In fact, the majority of the demo that I played was, hey, go and find this structure. I found this structure, and then it was, okay, these 4 waves of villains are coming. Beat them all to protect that structure. And so I did, so it was basically the same creatures coming over and over and over again. And the creatures, yeah, there isn't really much to them. I mean, there were like 3 different types that I saw, and they did have different types of attacks. But you defeat them the exact same ways, and whenever you defeat them, like, they would just slowly fade away. And it just almost looks like a computer glitching out when they fade away. Like, some of them would even just, like, freeze in midair and then fade away. I was like, that just doesn't look that good. However, I will say this. The 4 characters themselves, the 4 main characters themselves who you actually play as, they look good. They actually spent their time on them. They each have different combos they can do, and the combos are actually pretty fun to pull off. There actually is a decent amount of variety to their combos, and like I said, the graphics on the main characters themselves, are better than the graphics on anything else in here. Like, they clearly went, no, people are playing this game because they love these characters. Make those characters look good. And yeah, they actually look better in this game than they look in the actual show. So if I had to actually give this some kind of a rating, I would say that it looks like this is going to be a game that is only for the fans of RWBY. However, unlike that Kingdom Hearts game earlier that we were talking about, it's for any fan of the show. It's not for the die-hard, I must own everything that involves it fan of the show. No, if you are a fan of the show and it's like, you know what, I want to experience a video game adventure with these characters, cool, done. This will get the job done. You will enjoy that you played it. So, yeah, enjoy. Okay, the next two that we're going to talk about are actual really big games. We've been talking about a lot of, like, minor ones. These two are actual big games that I'm looking forward to. First one I want to talk about is the new game from Behemoth. They're the people, we mentioned them earlier, but they're the people who made Castle Crashers, and I always forget the name.
Battle Block Theater.
Thank you! It's my favorite game from them too, and I always forget it. But yeah, with Hattie Hattington, I remember Hattie Hattington. I always want to call the game the Hattie Hattington game. But I forget the actual name of it. Yeah, I love Battle Block Theater. That game was so fun. Mm-hmm. But not only was it fun, the dialogue and the comedy in it, that's the thing that defines all Behemoth games, is that they're hilarious. The writing is great, the voice acting is totally on point and captures that humor so well. So that is the main thing that I was looking forward to in their new game, Pit People. And it did not disappoint in that area. It starts off, like, listen, I'll be totally honest with you guys. I do not listen to any of the games that I play at a convention because you have to use the shared community headphones. And when you do that, you're inviting all kinds of diseases into your brain, and I'm a total germaphobe. However,
you sweaty nerd cuties.
Dude, do you know how many sick people come to conventions because they're like, I don't care, I paid $200 for these tickets, I'm going to go to this convention, it's the one thing I look forward to a year. I can't blame them for doing that either.
They could at least bathe, but...
Don't stereotype all of them like
I know, I'm sorry.
But, yeah, I went to this and I was like, I never put on headphones because it's disgusting. This is the one booth that I made that exception for because you have to listen to a Behemoth game. They're so hilarious. And in this game, it starts off by saying, I don't remember what the world was like before the bear crashed into it. And then you see a giant space bear crash into the earth and just shatter the planet. And throughout this game, you are going around this map and you see big green globs of goo flying down. Eventually, the narrator says that that's the bear's blood and it's just constantly raining down you. And there will be a moment where you're going around the map and you actually see the bear's body against the earth up there. I'm like, who thought of this? This is crazy genius. And it's very comparable to Battle Block Theater in its flavor because in Battle Block Theater, you had a narrator, and the narrator...
Is it the same narrator?
It's the exact same narrator.
Yes, I thought so.
The narrator is kind of like on your side, and he's like, good job, way to go, but he's being very humorous, but I was like, oh, I shouldn't die anymore on this level, should I? Like, kind of like that, like, kind of like teasing you a bit, but in like that friendly way, like they're trying to help. In this one, the narrator hates you, and he wants you to die. It literally starts with the narrator going, this is Horatio. Horatio was a blueberry farmer, and he died. And then all of a sudden, you as Horatio have to fight off all these hordes. And then he goes, I said that Horatio died! Like, the narrator's getting angrier at you, and then the narrator actually kills your family. Say, see, you should have followed the script. Like, the narrator is against you in this game. But it is the exact same narrator, and it's so messed up. But the narrator is hilarious.
Yes.
And what makes it even funnier is that all the characters in there that you play as don't speak. They just speak in like that's like just this mumbled, vaguely almost Swedish accent, like and there's some, and it's great because they'll like try and interact with the narrator, and the narrator will just like do that thing where they say, "No, I did not say this." like, there's a moment in which Horatio, the blueberry farmer, goes up and he meets this princess and goes, "Oh, Horatio met the princess and he shared all of his blueberries with her. Yes, you did. You shared them all. You gave her all your blueberries. There, they're gone." And I was like, that's... God, that's so funny. I can't explain to you why that's even funny. Like, there's a moment in which, like, you're moving around the map and it's like, "Oh, the big dumb Horatio decided to move across the world. He's not even as handsome as everyone says. I don't know what the big deal about him is." And, like, that's going on as you're maneuvering around this field. So, yeah, Behemoth games, they're all hilarious. Again, this one, hilarious.
Yeah.
I was enjoying it so much.
But it's a bit different from Castle Crashers and Battle Block Theater because it's not
It's a totally different type of game.
It's basically a turn-based RPG, well, kind of, but it's not a platformer, a side-scrolling platform like the others were.
It's a strategy game.
Strategy, yes, that's what I'm thinking.
In which you, like, move around this field, and, like, the entire field is divided into hexagons, and so and basically every single hexagon is a space that you can stand on, and your opponents are on one side of the board, and they get to move around a certain number of spaces, and you have to move around a certain number of spaces, and you form a party, and you move around. And I actually enjoy these types of games whenever I play them, but I enjoy them kind of for the strategy, and this is the one thing that I have to say about this game that I did not like. I actually had a huge problem with this, is that you move the character to a space, and then it will attack an enemy that is within striking range. However, you do not get to pick which enemy they strike. Like, I moved one character over to a space in which there were 3 people standing there. I was like, okay, now I'll select which one I want to attack. It didn't let me do that, and I was like, oh shoot, are they going to attack all 3 of them? That would actually be awesome. Instead, they just randomly attacked one. And this kept happening, and I was like, am I missing something? I'm clearly missing something where I get to decide who they attack. Clearly I'm missing it. And then right after I thought that, a menu screen popped up, a little tutorial screen popped up that said, your characters have a mind of their own. You can tell them where to go, but you can't tell them who to attack. They will randomly choose who they attack. And I was like, part of the reason why people play these types of games is the strategy that goes into it. It's basically chess. It's, I know where to move, I know who to attack, and then I have my other party member move over here. It's basically games where you can plan out multiple moves ahead. And when you plan those steps out, that's how you win. It's by thinking ahead and planning out who's going to attack what. This game takes out your ability to choose who's going to attack what, and makes it completely random. And I just looked at that and I was like, you took out the one thing that really makes this work. I'm totally going to play this for the humor of it. I will play the worst behemoth game in existence as long as they can keep that humor up, and this one looked hilarious.
But maybe that fits in with the theme, like, you know, like the characters going against the narrator.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I can see that. So it makes sense. I still don't like it. I still look at it like, this is what makes these games work. Why are you taking that out? However, like I said, every single thing else in this game looked hilarious. Like, you can recruit characters, you can build up a home where you form your team and you buff their stats and you change their costumes. There's so many things you can do in this game, and we just got a taste of it. But yeah, that's the one problem I had, and I can see myself being insanely frustrated by it. However, as I said, it's a behemoth game. It's just as good as any of those other behemoth games when it comes to the writing, and that is the star of any of these games.
Yeah, also if you're not a fan of micromanaging, maybe it's best that the characters do their own thing so you don't have to tell them to. So.
Okay, maybe that's a fair point.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, next up, this was another one. If you guys have followed me on this channel and you saw like my top 10 games I'm looking forward to this year, or you follow me on Twitter, you know I am super excited about Overwatch. I've been looking forward to this game for a long time because I don't really like first-person shooters. I don't really like the team first-person shooters. What do you call those? Like the Team Fortress type of games.
Yeah.
Like I don't know the exact term for it, but yeah, basically the capture the flags would be take out each other's team kind of games like that. I'm just not a big fan of them. But the reason why I'm not a big fan of them is because so many of them lack flavor. Mm-hmm. Like, so many of them are, well, you're an army guy, named Joe Face Shape go out there and fight Joe Face Shape number 2. And that's it. Like, there's no flavor to any of them. Like, Team Fortress has the most flavor out of any of them. And I still look at that like, listen, I found those Meet the Team videos hilarious, but you're all still like, okay, that's a soldier. That's an engineer. Alright. Like, I get the humor behind the characters, but design-wise, I'm just like, whatever. And, like, there's no story to that world either. It's just fight each other. Which is fine. That's part of the appeal of it. But it doesn't appeal to me. Overwatch is the first-person shooter game that I've been waiting for. Every single one of these characters have so much flavor to them, they have so much personality, they have such creative moves, so different from each other. There is a big story behind this world. I'm so excited for this. I have said this numerous times. If they just said, we're going to launch 20 comic books based around Overworld, one for each character, I'd be totally down for it.
Overwatch, you mean?
Did I say it?
You said Overworld.
Overwatch. Right. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we know.
I am so excited for this game. I finally got to play it here. I finally did. Again, demo guys. Make the demos shorter, because we stood in line for this thing for an hour and the convention center closed. Everybody's session was 15 minutes long. We were the last group up there and they're like, alright, well, you guys come on up because you stood in line for an hour to play this thing. So we went up there, we played for 5 minutes, and they said you gotta go because that was the end of the match. And then it was like, but everybody else played to the end of the match and theirs was 15 minutes. And that's when it hit me. You let everybody play 3 matches? You let everybody play... Dude, 1 match, maybe 2, you will move this line along so much faster. So yeah, that's just a small little rant that I had to go on there. But playing through the actual game. Okay, I will admit, I don't play a lot of these games. As I said, they're just not my types of games. So I was a dumbass at the beginning of this game, and I went in there, and I picked Samson. Samson to the big gorilla guy. I think that's his name, Samson. I went in there, and you have like a couple minutes, well, like 30 seconds before the match begins, to learn your character, basically. And I went, okay, this is jump, that's fire my weapon, this is fire my secondary weapon, cool, I'm good. The entire time that I was doing that, a little thing kept popping up and said, hit the left button in order to see info on your character. I hit that for a second, a menu screen popped up and I went, I don't have time to read that, and I went back to it, and then I ran into battle, and I died, and I died, and I died, and I was like, man, I really do suck at these games. And I said, maybe I should read that thing. I hit the left button again. It gives me all of his special moves and tells me exactly how to play him. And I kept getting shot by this sniper. Every time I died, it was because I was being shot by this sniper. I was like, God, Samson is so slow. He is incredibly slow. That makes me prime pickings for the sniper. I hit that left button, read up on it. First thing it said is, Samson specializes in taking out snipers because he can hit the right bumper to leap over huge bounds and take them out. I went, are you kidding me? And I went back out there, went to the spot where I knew the sniper was stationed, saw where they are, they took aim at me, I hit the right bumper, leapt over the entire thing at them. I didn't get to kill them, but they freaked out and started running, and I kept chasing after them, and I just had the biggest grin on my face, like, yes, revenge. Towards the end of the match, you can actually switch. That's another great thing about this, is that you can actually switch between characters in the same match. I think that's an awesome feature. Towards the end of it, I decided, you know what, just to get some more experience with someone else, I played the last, 30 seconds of the match as the girl with the robot mech. I don't know her name, I don't know enough of the characters' names, but I played as the girl with the giant robot mech because nobody else was playing as her, so I was like, okay, cool, this will be a chance for me to see something different. She starts off in the robot mech, and she's kind of slow, she's got some weapons. I got my ass kicked in the robot mech. When the robot mech gets its ass kicked, you jump out of the mech. You don't die, you just jump out of the mech, and then you have, just this single gun shooter, and you're running around freely as a human. I started kicking ass like that. I learned as I played that, oh, I specialize in the speedy characters. I specialize in the agile characters, not in the big bulky ones, because the moment in which I was now this little tiny human running around with heightened speed and agility just with one gun, I actually started taking out multiple guys. So I was like, okay, learn my lesson. So I did have fun, and I really want to play way more of this game, and I really want to go through every single character and learn them all individually. But yeah, this got me excited for it. Mm-hmm. You actually played with me on.
Yes.
Who's the one that you picked?
I played the buff pink-haired girl.
I don't know her character name.
I don't know either. I was like, we don't know their names, but it's like we know them by design.
Yeah,
and that's very important. I think it's more important to know a character by their design. So because, you know, that's the first thing you know. You don't really know their name when you see them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's flavor. It adds flavor to the game, and that's what's so important. It's also, like I said, the reason why I opened this by saying the reason why I don't like most first-person shooters is because you are average Joe army dude with no personality at all, and it's like, all right, why do I care about this guy? These characters, you look at it and you instantly get a sense of them. And yeah, I remember the moment that I saw the character you're talking about, the really buff pink-haired girl. One of the things I really hate about the video game community, and also like, you know, comics and pretty much everything in geek culture, is that female characters always have, like 90% of the time, have the exact same body type. The moment I saw her, I went, that's a body type we do not see much. That gives me dimensions to this character. That instantly tells me something about this character, and instantly makes her stand out.
Yeah, that's why I picked her, because, like, yeah.
Also,
pink, yes, pink. I like pink. I do play Team Fortress 2, in case you can.
Oh, you actually love Team Fortress.
Yes, I do, and and the reason why I like Team Fortress and Splatoon is because it's bright and colorful and fun. Whereas most other first-person shooters are dark and gritty and serious. It's like, I don't like that. I don't like being too serious and taking things too seriously. I want to have fun and shoot things. So that's what...
Take that out of context.
But yeah, so that's why I was interested in Overwatch, because it did look fun and colorful, and it had a great... sorry, I'm losing my breath.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot.
And it has a great cast, like you mentioned. And I did have fun. The problem was that the controls were inverted. Like, the analog stick, when I would point up, I would look down, and when I pointed down, I would look up. But I'm sure you can change the settings once the game is out and everything.
Yeah, because mine actually wasn't. So I think it's just like the person who was playing before you set that as that.
Yeah, so that was probably one of the reasons why I got screwed up, and probably another reason why I kept dying is because my character is slow. She's the muscle.
She's the heavy.
Yeah, exactly. So like, she's not supposed to be fast. She's supposed to be the muscle, and I wasn't able to dodge the bullets and everything, and because of I couldn't see where I was going either. But the thing is, like, I feel like I need more time with the game. I need to get a good feeling of these characters to find which one suits me.
When you have a game with this much variety to the characters and how they play, because there's a ton of variety to these characters, which is one of the things I love, you can't just pick it up and start playing.
No.
I'm sure there is, like, one character you can do that with in every single one of these games, the standard character, the basic soldier, but we did not pick any of those characters.
No.
But yeah, I'm so excited for this game now. I'm also excited for... We didn't get to play this, but I really want to play Battleborn.
Yes.
Which really, to me, kind of looks like the guys over at Borderlands looked at Overwatch and went, we can do that. Because it does kind of look like a Borderland, like an overworld ripoff to me.
And it's made by the same guys who did Borderlands.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it kind of looks like an Overwatch ripoff to me, but it has its own unique flavor.
Yes.
When I say it looks like an Overwatch ripoff, to me, it looks like someone looked at Overwatch and went, oh my god, someone's finally making these types of games with fun personality and just pure craziness in the character designs. Is it finally safe to do that? Because we've been wanting to do it for a while now.
Yeah, and they also have like great character designs.
I love the character designs.
There's like 25 different characters to choose from, and that is great. I love.
There was like a debutante with just floating sword rapiers around her. I was like, oh my god, that's awesome. There's a vampire samurai, for God's sakes. There's a spider wizard in there. A robot butler. It looks so damn cool.
I know. It's like that's. I'm so happy that we're getting like more diverse characters in our video games. And it's funny because we were talking about how excited we were to have more diversity in comics.
Yeah.
Now it's starting to move over into the video games, and that's awesome. That is great.
Yeah, it's so amazing to see that people are finally realizing you can have different types of flavor in a game, even if this type of game has typically only been one thing. Because like I said, that's the reason why I never liked first-person shooters, is I just don't care about random army dude. I do care about the giant man mountain that is in Battleborn. That dude looks awesome. But yeah, I can't wait to play that. It looks like so much fun. Although I will say, I gotta get this out of here real quick. The villain in Battleborn, it's Mr. Sinister. It's 1,000% Mr. Sinister. Like the chiseled white face, the dark suit, red diamond in the middle of the suit, and I was looking at that in like these promo images we were seeing, and I was like, did they just rip off Mr. Sinister? You know what, I'm probably reading too much into it. And then a commercial for it played on the TV as we were walking around the booth. It shows him walking around with a big tattered cape with all the little strings hanging off. I was like, oh my god, for real? For real. It's like, okay, this just went from coincidence to I hope tribute, or else you just stole it. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that game, but it comes out in like 2 weeks, so...
Yeah, so we don't have to wait
We were not going to wait 2 hours in line to play a game that's coming out in 2 weeks, but I just wanted to give that a quick plug and say, I'm really looking forward to Battleborn.
We're really looking forward to it, both of us.
But Overwatch, still, really looking forward to that.
Very
too.
awesome.
And it was fun. It was a lot of fun, even if I got my butt kicked. Right. Okay, it's finally time, guys. These were our favorite games that we played. You have two.
Yes.
So I'm going to let you go first. Also, because my voice needs rest, so you go ahead. What's the first game you want to talk about?
Well, the first game I want to talk about is Kirby and Planet what was it?
Kirby gets a giant yellow afro and starts fighting people with his nose hairs. There's going to be a lot of kids out there who didn't watch that when it was on Toonami and are going to be very confused. But that was a thing that people used to watch on TV. But no, okay, it's Robobot.
Yes. Kirby and Planet Robobot, and it is super cute because it's Kirby, and pretty much anything with Kirby is super cute and super fun. Again, pink. Pink is the color of fun.
Yeah, it is. And buff chicks. Kirby's gonna be a big buff chick in his next game. Has it ever been confirmed if Kirby's a girl or a guy?
I thought Kirby was a boy. I
thought so, but it's like it never really occurred to me until now. It's not like his species has like... Never mind.
You're getting too much into it. But anyway, yeah, if you're like me, you're a big fan of Kirby, and this new installment is like a great throwback to like the classic Kirby. It's on the
handheld.
It's on. Yes, I'm sorry.
We've been talking a long time, guys. I'm sorry. I don't even know what that time code says.
Yeah, it's on the handheld, which is where Kirby originally came from, for the Game Boy. So that's a good throwback to that. And also, I have nothing against Kirby's Epic Yarn or Kirby and the Rainbow Curse, but I kind of felt like the mechanics were going too far
away from what it originally was. Yeah.
So like this is definitely a good. It's back to the basics. It's back to the classics.
It's Kirby.
Yes, it's good old Kirby. So yeah, so if you're a big fan of Kirby, you will enjoy this new game.
What's the robot part of it? Like, where's the robot part of Robobot coming? Because I've seen him in the mech.
Yeah.
So this is actually kind of surprising me to hear you say that it's a return to the classics, because I saw that and thought, well, this is going to be really different from other Kirby games.
Well, the demo I played, he did not have the robot suit. At least not yet. So I'm going to assume he gets it later in the game.
Wow. That's like the entire premise of the game is that he's got a mech suit. So, okay.
Yeah, but like the demo I played, it was like very much like the classic Kirby.
Huh.
Yeah, it's just that he's on a basically kind of a steampunk planet. Like it's basically like Dreamland, but with pipes and robots.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean there's still like the regular Waddle Dees and everything like that. So it's like a combination of like Dreamland and a new robot world. And there's actually like, and you like collect like little computer cubes, like computer squares.
Like little like chips?
Yeah, chips. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like little computer chips, and it wasn't said in the demo or anything, but I think you had to collect them to like restore peace to the planet or build your mech or whatever. I don't know.
There's never really much explanation. It's Kirby has to restore peace.
Yes, that's
the point of all Kirby.
Yes. But like there's actually like you run into like a boss, but it's not, you don't fight it because you don't have the ability to yet, so you just run away from it. It's a mechanical tree. So
yeah, okay, I got you.
Yeah, so, like, I don't know if that's, like, a robot version of the tree you fight in the original Kirby, or, like, a tribute or whatever, but who knows.
It's just the Terminator future of the Kirby world.
The Terminator.
You gotta go back in time and save Meta Knight's mother.
But, yeah, it's cute. Check it out.
Cool.
Alright, so...
Alright, now, the second game that was your favorite.
Yes. That's Mimpi Dream.
It's...
Mimpi. Is it M-I-M-P-I? Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I keep saying it Mipsy. Like, I keep wanting to call it Mipsy.
I thought it was a B. Like, even when I was looking at it. Like, that's how dyslexic I am. So I thought it was Mimsies. But no, it is Mimpi. Mimpi's
I want to put an S in there, but there's no S. It's Mimpi.
Mimpi Dreams. That's what.
Yes.
God damn, did we really spend all that time trying to figure out the name of this? Mimpi Dreams. There it is.
Yes.
All right. This game actually also is currently available, but we're still going to talk about it because A, it was one of your favorite things that you played, and B, no one knows what the hell this thing is. None of you knew what Mimpi Dreams was. Be honest with us. And yeah, it's out there. It's on Steam right now. It is from a Czech Republic gaming company, which is apropos because this was a European-ass game. Like, it really did feel like a European art experiment. Not even experiment, but just like a very European style of art. Yes. Especially with its design.
Yeah, like the design is very similar to like, what was it, Night in the Woods, or like...
Like, the way that they shaded everything was, it does have that same kind of shading.
And also the no outline thing.
Yeah, the whole no outlines design was very similar to Night in the Woods. But you actually described it as like in all of the other reindeer.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
But like basically, like it has three things that I love: puppies, platformers, and puzzles. So yes, it's
three
like
P's.
So yeah, it's like this game was meant for me because it is very cute. It's basically Mimpi is a dog, and I'm guessing, and basically you guide Mimpi through his or her dream. We don't know what gender the dog is.
We actually had this argument about whether or not it was a boy or a girl.
I think it's a girl. He thinks it's a boy.
I thought it was a boy because it looked like Snowy from Tintin.
And I said it looked like a girl because it reminded me of all of the other reindeer, but who knows?
You're the one who's going to be playing it, so we'll just call it a girl.
Alright, so you have to guide Mimpi through her dream, and in order to do that, you have to move her around, jump from platform to platform, and solve puzzles. And there's even like a point where she gets superhero powers, and she has...
Yeah, you get like different costumes.
Yeah, you get different costumes. I haven't played hard enough to know what the powers are, but it's really cute.
Yeah, like the power that you got was she got a like superhero cape and mask on, and then she could suddenly bark and would cause like a shockwave.
Yes, a super bark.
Yeah. But it's not like there were any enemies in there. It very much was you have to get from the left side of the screen to the right side of the screen, and you have to like click and drag on things in order to move around. Like a lot of times it was jump onto this ledge, grab this block, move to the other side of the screen so you can get up there. or go into this thing, turn this puzzle around until it forms a shape. When it forms the shape, this gem drops. Take the gem, pull it into this statue's eye, then it opens. You were playing through the very tutorial level.
Yes.
So it was very introductory stuff. It was not very hard to pick up on.
Yes, but like it was very creative too. Like you can actually interact with the background and use it to help yourself along. Like you can actually click, like if there's a ledge, like if there's a gap that's too large, that's too wide for you to jump across, you can actually click on a tree enough till it falls over and creates a bridge for you to cross. And there's another scenario where you can actually like click and drag the cloud, and you can make Mimpi jump on the cloud, and then you can click and drag Mimpi across. And that's really clever because you don't really use too many clouds or trees to get in a...
You don't really use background manipulation.
Background, yes.
Yeah, which I think, that is true, because most of the time it's find the right item to open this thing. This one, I feel like it's a lot more satisfying because a lot of the times you do just kind of want to manipulate the background, but because this whole idea of this is that you're in this dog's dream, you can do that.
Yes.
And I think that adds to some of the fun of it, is that it's just simply like, move this. It's almost like this dog is moving left or right, and your job is to set things up for it to be able to cross.
Right.
And that can include manipulating the world however you need.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but I mean, the biggest appeal of it was that it was very cute.
Yes, it was cute and fun.
It was cute, it was fun, it was very relaxing.
Yes. Yes, it's a very good game for like casual gamers who are not like too serious, and just want to have some fun and relax and enjoy some cute puppies.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. All right. So this is the last game that we're going to be talking about. This was my favorite game. Surprise, surprise, surprise. My favorite game from the entire thing was, I have to look up the name of this because the new name that they gave it is dumb as hell. I love this game, but it's the Persona Fire Emblem crossover game, but they couldn't call it that. They couldn't even call it Shin Megami Tensei Fire Emblem. They had to call it Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE. And I tweeted that out and I said, why are you calling it that? That's so much more of a mouthful than just Persona Fire Emblem or SMT Fire Emblem. Why are you doing that? And someone tweeted me back and said, they don't want people to think of this as a crossover. They're trying to hide the fact that it's a crossover. And it's like, dude, the fact that this is a crossover is one of the best things that you have going for it.
Like, people love crossovers.
People do love crossovers, but as I finally got there and played it, when I finally got the chance to play it, it hit me. It hit me what that person meant by that, and also hit me why they're doing it. This game merges the gameplay mechanics of Persona and Fire Emblem so smoothly, it feels like its own thing, and that's when it hit me. They want this to be its own franchise. They do not want this to be, hey, remember that time that Persona and Fire Emblem merged? Oh man, that was a great crossover, wasn't it? Would be great if they made another one day. No, they want this to be an ongoing thing. They want there to be the Tokyo Mirage Session FE9 coming out in a couple years. They want this to be a game that goes on and on and on. And honestly, I can't blame them. Because I know some of you might say, oh, well, you just love this because you love Persona. You just love this because you love Fire Emblem. You just love this because you love chocolate and you love peanut butter. And this is your big old Reese's peanut butter cup. I ain't gonna lie, there is that. However, I also love this because, as I said, when I started playing it, the way that you actually fight in this game and the combat mechanics in this merge Persona and Fire Emblem so much, it is totally its own thing. You can look at it and go, oh, it's using this from Fire Emblem. Oh, it's using that from Persona. But it plays entirely differently and entirely new. And I went, this is a great combat mechanic that they came up with. This is awesome. So yeah, let me just basically try and sum up for you what the combat is. You do have personas, although in this they're called mirages. But they're basically like your little spirit persona guardian thing. Except that in this one, they are characters from Fire Emblem, except they don't look exactly the same. They are completely changed around and ghostly and godly and morphed around to look like spiritual creatures, which is awesome. like Chrom from Fire Emblem Awakenings is one of the ones who you can use. He does not look much, he looks like 90% different, but that 10% that is the same makes you look at it and go, that's definitely Chrom. I see it, I see Chrom in there, which is exactly how it should be. I love the way that they changed each of these characters. I really want to see what other character is going to pop up. So there's that. That's one of the things from Fire Emblem. But one of the other things when you actually get into combat is that each of your characters are standing around in a circle with the enemies in the middle. And when you attack one of your enemies, if you attack them with whatever their weakness is, which is something from Persona, if you attack them with one of their weaknesses, then one of the other characters will then do a follow-up attack, just like in Fire Emblem. And I was talking to the guy running the booth, and he said that your characters actually will be able to kind of bond with each other, just like they do in Fire Emblem, where if they interact enough, they will actually form a bond, and however strong their bond is, will play some kind of effect on, like, a boost that they might get in battle, which is something that comes from the social links in the last Persona game. But it can also affect the follow-up attacks and how often they do a follow-up attack, which is something from the Fire Emblem games. So it's like, oh man, it's brilliant how you merge this. This actually makes total sense. And you also will have attacks and skills that are straight out of the Persona and the Shin Megami Tensei games. Like, ice is not called ice, it's called Bufu. Healing is not called healing, it's called Dia. So it comes directly from those games. And in fact, the different kinds of damage and the different kinds of weaknesses that characters can have, once again, it comes straight from Persona. In fact, the villains even look exactly like Persona villains. In fact, you even go into dungeons that look just like the dungeons from Persona 4, where it looks like some kind of a window into someone's mind. So that is also coming from Persona. But there are other, like, really small things, like whenever a character levels up, the way that they level up, they will get boosts to each of the different stats, and each of the different stats are the stats from the Fire Emblem games. It's really is like a 50-50 mix. So yeah, as a fan of these, I love that. But as I said, they fit together way better than you could possibly have imagined, to the point in which this does feel like its own thing. I also have to say, the presentation on this game, gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Which is something that I was kind of concerned about, because Fire Emblem, the last couple of those games have been on the handheld, and for a handheld game, they've looked damn good. But this is actually on the Wii U. And the Persona games, and a lot of the Shin Megami Tensei games, they're known for gameplay, they are not known for graphics. Persona 4, probably my favorite game of all time. I will flat out admit, that game, even when it came out, the graphics looked old. That is a franchise, in fact, like I said, all the Shin Megami Tensei games, those are always franchises that have always looked a little bit dated. They haven't looked like they are living up to the potential of the current system that they're on. This is some of the best graphics I have seen on the Wii U. They're gorgeous. In fact, whenever one of your characters gets to start their turn, the camera will come over to them, and you've got the list of options that you can perform, and as you're looking that over, the character will start off by making a statement, and they will actually, like, have a look on their face that kind of reflects the state that they're in. Like, if they're confident and they're healthy and they have a move up their sleeve that will be able to take them down, they'll be there like, yeah, come on, let's do this. Like, they will look really excited, like they are about to charge into battle, and it will make you actually feel like, yeah, come on, we can do this. If they're poisoned, they're gonna look like, oh god, I don't know about this. If their health is low, they'll look a little bit concerned, a little bit shaky, like, oh, how are we gonna do this? Or like if another character just fainted, they'll look concerned for what's going on in the battle. That's awesome. That they don't just have them standing there doing the same old thing that any other fighter in an RPG would do, where it's the exact same standards. Like, no, these characters feel way more real and way more animated, and it just feels like time and effort got put on them, and you really do form more of a bond with them just as the player, because of the amount of emotions that are being shown here that reflect what's going on. And it's like, I can't really I've seen other RPGs do that, but not to the level that this one is doing. And like I said, when it comes to video games, I just want flavor. I want flavor added to these games. That adds flavor to this game. So yeah, I thought that was an excellent touch. The dungeons look a little bit basic. I'll admit that. I will flat out admit that. But again, the Persona games, the dungeons have always looked basic. But when you go into combat, it looks so gorgeous. This really is some of the best graphics I've seen on the Wii U. Also, just going back to the combat real quick, I actually went up against the boss of the level, and when I did that, the guy who was guiding everyone and giving them introductions, he figured out right away that I was a fan of Persona, because everybody else he had to give a little bit of help to, give a little bit of guidance to. I went right in there, and he would like start to give me guidance, and I would just keep on going, and I would instantly like do the thing he was going to suggest. Like, one of the villains hit me with ice, and he goes, okay, so they hit you with ice, so, oh, you already hit them with fire. Okay, so you could already figure out that they were weak to fire. Alright, cool, whatever, you don't need me. Yeah, because it really was just like, yeah, no, dude, I know. They hit me with ice, they were weak to fire, done. Okay, got it. And then I went into the final boss battle, and he said, okay, just let you know, I've been here all day, only one person has beat this boss. I was the second person to beat that boss, because it's like, I'm not bringing this up to brag. I'm not bringing that up to brag. I'm bringing that up because I wanted to say, if you have played Persona, you're going to be able to figure this game out. It will not be exactly the same, because like I said, there are elements of Fire Emblem in there. But if you played Persona, you can pick this game up right away and figure it out. I will also say, it brings in mechanics with the touchscreen, because with the touchscreen, you will receive text from other characters, especially characters who are outside of the dungeon. Like other characters you meet in the world. And the text messages will appear right there on your touchscreen. You can scroll through them. So it's like, okay, that is a good thing to use a touchscreen for, because it's not something that will distract you from the main game, but it is something, it gives you something to do down there. And again, it allows you to have a conversation with these characters, and the greatest thing about both Fire Emblem and Persona is the bonds that you form with these characters. This allows you to do that. So yeah, I was already excited for this game. I was. This got me hyped. This got me so excited for this game. Only thing I will complain about, there is no English dub. Are you out of your damn mind? Why would you... Okay, listen. This is not some debate about, oh, I prefer subs, I prefer dubs. Listen, you're all allowed to prefer whatever the hell you want. However, you have to also realize that when you're playing a 60-hour RPG, which is what this probably will end up being, you have to realize that even if you prefer subs, and you prefer the original Japanese voices, there are other people out there who prefer dubs, and they're going to be playing this for 60 hours, and you, even in a dub game, have the option to turn back on the original Japanese voices. Shouldn't they have the ability to hear the dub voices? And also, listen, I love Persona 4. A lot of people love Persona 4. You know one of the things that people love Persona 4 and Persona 3 to that extent? You know one of the things that they love those games for? The dubs! They do! They form a connection with these characters, and one of the things that helps you form a connection with the characters is just hearing their voices. And if you don't speak Japanese fluently, then hearing the English voices will allow you to get way more connected to these characters. So, yeah, I really am bummed that in a game like this, they're not including that, and somebody actually asked the guy running the booth, why would you decide to do that? And they said, well, it actually wasn't Nintendo. Atlas is the one who is handling the United States distribution of this, and the English distribution of this game, and they said that they were the ones who didn't want to do it, because they said that this game is not like the previous Shin Megami Tensei games. This game is actually set in a real Japanese city. So it is very distinctly Japanese, so they said that they felt that it would add to the Japanese experience of the whole thing if you had actual Japanese voices in the game. You know what else was really Japanese? The Persona series. I mean, hell, Persona 4 is 99.999% Japanese. it still worked just fine with the English dub. It really does bug me that that's their rationale for it. However, I've been playing through Devil Survivor 2, which is also a Shin Megami Tensei game. Originally, that game had no spoken dialogue. It was all just text. I'm playing through Devil Survivor 2 Overclock. I already played through the original. I'm playing through Overclock now. In this one, it's got full English voice acting in there. And then there's also games like Persona 4 Golden, which was the extra added content version to Persona 4. Then there was also Persona 3 Festival, which was the extra added content version of Persona 3. I know exactly what you're doing, Atlas. I see what you're doing. You think you're so sneaky. I see what you're doing, Atlas. I know damn well what you're doing. This hat is looking weird right now. Right. You are going to release this thing with only the Japanese audio. Then, when it sells like crazy, because it will, you know it will, you're going to come out and go, well, because it was such a success, here's the whole game again, with one extra dungeon, one extra side character you can talk to, and now full-on voiceover. $60, please. Like, you're going to sell us the same game twice. I know you're going to do that.
And you will buy the same game
Shut
twice.
the fuck up. I was about to say that. Yes. I got nothing to go out on because, yeah, I'm going to buy it. Like, I would love to come in here and go, don't support them just trying to take your money. I was like, no, I'm going to do it. I know you're going to do it too. You're all going to do it.
It's like what you said with the Kingdom Hearts Unchained thing.
It's like, there are some games out there that I can only recommend to people who are die-hard, 100% must own everything from this franchise. The Atlas people realize their games are made up of nothing but those people. So, yeah, Atlas is going to play us, and we're just going to let him. We're just going to sit there and let him. So, yeah, enjoy that. Enjoy being used, because I'm going to be used, and I'm going to enjoy it because that game was so damn fun. It was so good. Oh my god, it was so damn good. That's the best thing I can say about this, is that I had high hopes for it. This is surpassing all of them. Just from that one level that I played, I went, it looks amazing, and the combat is excellent. So, yeah, there you go. Those were our favorite games from PAX, and all the other ones that we got to play. So, thank you guys for tuning in. I know this was a long one, but, I mean, it's the post-Geek Out reaction. These are not the professional videos. These are the ones in which we just bullshit. And I hope you guys enjoyed that. We certainly had a ton of fun at PAX.
Yep.
So thank you guys very much. I'm coming back home. I've been out of town almost every damn week this month. For the past month, this channel has had such fluctuating schedule because I was out of town, then I was out of town again, then I was sick for a week. I'm coming back home. And after this, everything is back to normal. And coming up this week, I've got the comic class on Wednesday. I've got a brand new game room on Thursday. It's a really good one. It's another top 10. I'm really proud of that one. It's a lot of fun. Then, over the weekend, we are going to have a review of Ratchet & Clank, and we're also going to have the post-Geek Out reaction for Ratchet & Clank. So, that's a lot to look forward to this week. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. Come back next time. My voice is destroyed. It's always destroyed at the end of the post-Geek Out reaction. We do it for you. So yeah, bye everyone.
Bye.